real excited about the fruits that's going to bear as the new folks get after it. I can tell you, Kevin was in the office yesterday, dialing all day, set appointments for today, and excited for his opportunities today. I see that Ryan went out and wrote business yesterday as well. And then other good news, continuing to grow. Things are looking good on the agency side of things for the month. We've got a week left to hammer down and throw up some big numbers. So I'm excited for everybody.
Good job, Mark, and thank you for pouring in everybody the last couple of days, if you will, at the training. Excellent job, much appreciated. All right, Renee.
Yeah, so the training was awesome. I'm really excited that we had the people that we did join in and pour in and learn, and everything that we talked about, I think, is really going to help people further their businesses. Like Mark said, we got an extra week this month, so there's time for those looking to level up, to be able to do that. That being said, I'm working my tail off trying to do that myself. And Edward, I believe he's on his 4-week string at this point now, right, Corey? So kudos to Ed for getting in there and getting it done. And I talked with a couple of girls from the hotel yesterday, so I've got appointments with them this evening, and we'll see how that goes. And I'm just looking forward to the things to come. I think everybody's really picking up the momentum, and a lot of people who weren't writing business before are now, and those who have been writing are really starting to increase their production. So I'm loving what everybody's doing right now, and I think as a team we're really going to have a great year.
I appreciate that, Renee. Well said. And there's a lot to be said when you speak. You're out there leading from the front, you're recruiting, you're developing. I mean, look what Ed's doing, with your assistance. Of course, he's going out and making it happen, but congratulations to you. And it's kind of cool to say Team Infinity. I think that's what you're shooting for your team name. So we'll start addressing you as such. All right. Thanks, Renee. GP, you're up.
Well, good morning, everyone. So glad you guys had a great next level training in St. Louis. This was a character building week for us. We're still transitioning over, so we still got some little growing pains to go, but I'm really proud of Brandy. She is still building her team while she's learning, still trying to figure this thing out. She added another person this week, so we're getting them through the not just the onboarding process, but getting them through the licensing process. So good job for that. We're just continuing to grow and follow you leaders who are doing great things and showing us how it's done. So thanks a lot, Corey.
Appreciate it. And last but certainly not least, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Worldwide, Tim.
Too kind. No, man, just an awesome week so far, guys. It's great to see everybody, see some new faces. Good to see Jeremiah Wilson as well, buddy. Yeah. So anyway, no, man, just good to see the new faces there, seeing people get excited about the opportunity, and going to be heading down tonight to hang out with Mr. Sullivan and I believe Charity. Is that right? Chastity? There they are. So anyway, looking forward to that, and just looking forward to see the growth that comes out of what we just did. So anyway, man, just excited to be here, and Mr. Williams, take it away.
We'll get into my good news when we do recognition. Again, the next level training was excellent. That was our third one. This Sunday when leadership meets, we'll talk about the next dates. We'll get those out there. Usually we'll keep it capped at about 20, 25 people. There's probably around 20 of us were there. Had a great time. I'll show you guys some pictures here in a little bit. But to be respectful of Mr. Wilson's time, first of all, Jeremiah, thank you for taking the time this morning to be on. I don't know where you're at. It might be really early where you're at. So
no, I'm an hour ahead of you. I'm in Boston. So
okay, perfect. So it's 9 o'clock there, but
yes.
We appreciate it. So guys, as you know, as we transition, as we get bigger, yes, the CRM is a necessary evil, but at the same time, having vendors like excuse me, Plum Direct and some of the other ones that we use, you're starting to see and hear the results. Tim, Renee, some of our bigger writers, they're doing more direct mail as opposed to CRM. So I want to be very fruitful in what I say with this. Like, the CRM is a necessary evil, But if you're going to write bigger premiums, you want to help more people, you want to eliminate the quote unquote dreaded dial day, for the most part, direct mail is the way to go. Now, there's only so much to go around, and that's what we're having different, preferred partners and stuff like that, like Direct or Plum on here, so that you guys understand exactly what they offer and how they do it. Because it takes time to research this stuff, go out and talk to these, these preferred vendors to make sure that we're giving you guys the right information and you know what to do to run forward to build your business. All right. So without further ado, Plum Direct Marketing, Mr. Jeremiah O. Wilson. Jeremiah, floor is yours.
Thanks, Corey. Appreciate the time today, guys. So I've spoken with some of you over the phone. You've also spoke with my associate, Melissa. Some of you have as well. Basically, we're based out of Boston, but we have clients, all over the country for you. And we are a direct mail house. We've been around for a little over 20 years now. I've been with them for about 7 years. And we specialize in different direct marketing programs for people looking to do lead generation, which it seems to be the bulk of Family First Life, in terms of, what you guys are looking for. And basically, we do this primarily through the direct mail program, where we send out targeted mailers to people in counties, zip codes, states, whatever the case may happen to be. One of the big questions I always get asked when I speak to new agents is there any locked out territories, or are there any exclusivity territories? There's not with Plum. So you are welcome to mail wherever you like, whenever you like. What I do tell everyone, the one caveat with mortgage protection mailers, there are 2 states, South Carolina and Kansas, that have laws on the books that prevent us from getting a lot of mortgage data. So those are 2 states that we don't do marketing in primarily for mortgage protection, because it's very difficult based off of the lack of data. Other than that, mail wherever you like, as often as you like. And what we do is we keep an internal spreadsheet to try to make it so agents are not mailing on top of each other. Obviously, you are welcome to mail to wherever you'd like to mail. But if you come to me and say, I'd like to mail in Hawaii, well, I'm going to tell you right now, I have 3 FFL agents who are mailing like crazy in Hawaii and Alaska. So you might want to mail somewhere else for right now. I've been told that with COVID, a lot of people have transitioned to doing telesales. So it seems to open up a larger market in terms of where you can mail to. Basically, what we'll do is when we speak with you, we'll ask you questions like, what do you want to mail for? Mortgage protection, final expense. We also do mailings for Medicare, long-term care, as well as annuity sales. But the bulk of our mailings right now are mortgage protection and final expense. We'll look at the market that you want to look at, the whether it be by zip codes or whether it be by counties for you, see how many people that we have to mail to. And then we'll make some suggestions to you. We always tell folks, rural areas over urban areas. You do not want, as an example, you don't want to mail to Atlanta, Georgia. You want to mail outside Atlanta, Georgia. Because inside Atlanta, there's many, many, many agents mailing to those particular markets. And very large companies, New York Life, Prudential, who are mailing to those huge markets because they can drop a lot of mail in a small area to get as many leads as possible. So you're competing against them quite a bit. We will work with you to see what markets haven't been touched in the last 120 days. That's a big one. We tell people that you can mail to somebody once every 120 days on average. Anything more than once every 4 months, you run the risk of your ROI and your return rate going down dramatically. So we're going to work with you to try to get newer areas that haven't been hit as often. We'll work with you in terms of ways to increase your response rate as well. One thing that we do with a lot of FFL agents is put your phone number on the mailer at the bottom of it that basically says, for faster service, please call, and whatever phone number you want to put there. Now, there's a yin and a yang to that. The good side is there are people that will get your mailer who will never send it back, but they will call you. And so that's a way to get more responses from your mailing. The flip side to that is people will call you at Friday night at 8:30 or Sunday morning at 9 o'clock or Saturday afternoon at 4 while you're at the beach when it gets warm. Not today up here in Boston. So that's one of those. So if you're able to handle the calls and you're comfortable with it, I tell everybody, put your phone numbers on there, because there's lots of people now, especially in today's day and age, who may not want to write their phone number or their email address on a card to send through the mail because they think that the post office is staring at it and taking their information, even though they're not, but they'll call you. We have lots of agents that will put landing pages and URLs on their mailers as well. We have one that's custom created that we can customize for your campaign as well, that we put on the mailing that allows people to go to a URL. We own one called protectmymortgage.info. And what we do is we create protectmymortgage.info / for an example, for Tim, it would put TB for his first and last initials. And anybody that types in that URL will be asked to fill in their information and hit submit. You'll get that lead immediately as opposed to waiting for the card to come back in the mail. So, and like I tell everyone, with direct mail, when you send it out, it's a process. It takes time to get the leads back. Leads are non-dated pieces of mail, as we call them. Some people will hold on to them for months and then send it back. Other folks will send it back immediately, especially with final expense and mortgage protection. I have clients who have dropped multiple campaigns who get leads 6 months after they drop their mail because their neighbor dropped dead the day before and they found out that they didn't have any insurance. And so they fill out the card that's been sitting on their desk for a while. So we'll work with you we can also customize pieces, but we have pieces that we've tested over and over that we know work. But we're happy to build you a custom piece as well. We'll make suggestions to you. And I will flat out, so will my colleague Melissa will tell you flat out if what we're doing we think is stupid. Because I don't want you to do something that's going to get you a bad result. Don't put your face on it. Don't put your picture on the mailer. You want to keep it as benign as possible. You want mortgage, information, origination date, amount, lender name. You don't want your company's name on there. You want them to think it's coming from the bank. And that's going to get them to respond as opposed to the direct mail piece. One of the other questions that a lot of people ask me is about new versus older mortgages. So the problem with new mortgages is you and everybody else is marketing to them. I tell this to people. My wife and I just finished refinancing our home in October. Because I'm in the business, I keep track of what comes in our mail. I got 25 different pieces of direct mail for mortgage protection in less than 3 weeks. It all went in the garbage. I wouldn't even know where to begin as a consumer if I got 25 pieces of mail all talking about the same thing, because those lists are sold over and over and over and over and over. Some of the best campaigns I've done with people with FFL are people who have been in their homes for 6 months going backwards, 2 months going backwards. Because what we've learned is that 2 months, they're settled in, the huge mail bulks have stopped, they've built up a little bit of an income, a little bit of a savings that they might not have had before, and now they're ready to talk about insurance. Maybe the wife is pregnant, maybe they're adopting, maybe they're expecting another child. Maybe they've realized we don't have enough insurance now that we're 2 months in. So we usually recommend starting at 2 months and going backwards. We're happy to mail to the new people as well, if you'd like to, but we find the best results are the 2 months and going backwards. I've got some agents that go back 3, 4, 5 years because they may want to talk to somebody new about insurance. They may feel like they're overpaying for insurance. Beyond 5 years, response rates drop off dramatically. But that's another way to get more people, especially in rural areas that don't have a lot of records to begin with. But we're happy to sit down. We're happy to work with you. We're happy to answer questions. We're happy to look at markets, look at areas that may or may not work for you. Again, rural versus urban. I know a lot of folks are in Texas. There's a lot of people that like to mail in Texas, Dallas, Austin, places like that. They are heavily marketed to. Go outside the areas. You get better results overall. And it's also about consistency mailing. Because it takes 3.5 weeks for the leads to come back from your first campaign. If you do one campaign and then wait the 3.5 weeks, you get a couple of leads and say to me, I want to drop another campaign, which is totally fine. We're happy to work with anybody in any budget. You now have to wait another 3.5 to 4 weeks to get the next leads. So the most successful agents that we have with Plum are the ones that mail every single week or every other week to constantly keep their pipeline full. Campaigns run 6 to 8 weeks. After 8 weeks, we assume the majority of the leads have come back. There won't be any more coming in. You might get more, but we tell everyone 90 to 95% have come back in the first 6 to 8 weeks. So doing a constant mailing stream will allow you to keep your pipeline full throughout the year. But I understand some people will do one, then stop and wait. They're new. Totally get it. We're happy to work with you still. But we'll make suggestions. We'll give advice. And you're always welcome to email myself, my associate Melissa. We're happy to answer questions for you, run demographics, look at areas for you, show you samples of mailers that we've used before, whatever you need. Happy to help.
Awesome. So quick question. First of all, any questions that anybody has?
Of course I have a question.
Hi, Greg. How are you?
How you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you? What's going on?
I got my first mailer in the mail.
There you go.
That's
I was
awesome.
so excited. I called Corey and told him about
You
it.
did.
But the one question that I do have,
Yes.
because you suggested that I put my phone number on there. Now, does it come with the name and the phone number, or just the phone number on there?
So I have some agents at the bottom there of the card that will put, for faster service, please call, and then their phone number. I've had some agents say, for faster service, please call Greg at whatever. I don't recommend putting your last name. Okay, I don't recommend that, only because there are people who are Google crazy, who will start searching you out on Google. And if you have, and I'm not saying any of you do, but if any of you have any bad stuff on Google that might show up, they may then just rip it up and throw it away. So I always suggest either just put, for faster service, please call, or for faster service, please call Greg at 1-800-XYZ. It's just a way that in today's market, a lot of people will pick up the phone and call. And we all know how difficult it is to get people on the phone sometimes. Even when they fill out the card, you try calling them, they won't pick up the phone. Or they finally do, and they're like, I don't remember filling anything out. I don't get that one. That one still perplexes me 7 years into this business. People go, I never filled out a card, and you're staring at it with their information. Like, I didn't just call you randomly, somebody, but people will say that. But there are people that love to fill out cards. Never understood it. But there's people that love to fill out cards and drop them in the mail. But yeah, putting your phone number on there at the bottom, you can put your name, you cannot put your name. It's totally up to you. I always tell people that whatever number you do put, though, have a good message when they call, because you may not answer the phone. If you have some generic, thank you for calling 1-484, blah, 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 they're not leaving a message. They're going to hang up. If you have a message, thank you for calling Gregory's Life Insurance Company, I'm not available, please leave a message, at least they know they called the right number. They're not thinking, oh, I got the wrong company, and they won't leave a message. They still may not leave a message, but at least they think they know they're calling the right place. So there's Google numbers out there, people tell me, that you can buy or rent, that you can put messages on. I recommend that. If you have an office number, that. If you do your cell phone, that's fine too. Maybe put somewhere in the message, like, if you're responding to one of my mailers, please leave a message. I'll call you right back. If it's my mom, text me. I don't know, something like that on the message. But just something so people know when they call, they got the right person.
All right. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate
Yeah,
it, man.
absolutely.
All right. So I'm surprised nobody's asked a question yet. Cost per
Well,
1,000 for.
Here's one thing I will say. So if you're wanting to work with somebody that will get back to you in a super fast, timely manner, I mean, you send an email and I'm telling you, within about 5 minutes, you'll get a response. That's the one thing I love about Jeremiah. So if you've got a question, he will get back to you ASAP.
Tim, I apologize. You emailed me at like 10:50 last night, and I was watching Friends with my wife, so I didn't call you back. So
All right.
I have to watch Friends at night with my wife. Apparently, that's our routine on Thursday.
That's all right, man. It came
Sounds like
through
you
early
enjoy
this
it.
morning, so not a big deal, brother.
I've
That's good
seen
stuff.
every episode of Friends. I don't know how many times, because my wife is obsessed with the show, and so we just watch it on a loop at night until one of us falls asleep, and then, So, but yeah, no, I mean, we do pride, and other folks on here that work with my colleague Melissa will know that as well. We pride ourselves on trying to get back to you as soon as possible. If you email me on Saturday or Sunday and I'm not in the middle of doing anything and my wife's not staring at me while I'm looking at my computer, I'm happy to email you back as well. We understand that, like, you have questions and you might have something that pops into your mind right away and you're looking for an answer. Send us an email. We're happy to try to get back in touch with you. Or I'll send you an email that says, hey, I'm out right now. Give me a couple of hours. When I get back home, I'll run a report and I'll send it to you. We'll try to, give you that information as soon as possible, because we understand that you're looking for that information right away and it's important. I think Corey was about to ask about price. If you'd like, I'll explain that. So pricing is based off of how much mail you send out and how often you send mail out as well. So the unfortunate reality of the world that we live in right now is that everything, and I mean everything, is going up in price. And that includes the cost of paper, the cost of envelopes, and the cost of postage. And Plum, we try very, very hard not to pass that on to our customers. We're at a point now where, like everybody else in the world, we have to pass some of the cost on to the customer, unfortunately. We don't want to, but right now we have to, with everything going on in the world. So if you send out 1,000 mailers for mortgage protection, depending on the style of mailer, because we have postcards, we have letters, we have postcards that go into envelopes, they will cost you between 53 cents and 55 to 56 cents a mailer for you out the door complete. And one of the reasons that mortgage protection costs a little bit more is that some of the data points, mortgage lender, mortgage company, mortgage amount, mortgage date, costs money for us to get. And because of that, it makes the mailing a little bit more money. Final expense is cheaper per 1,000 because all we're pulling is age and income. So it costs you a little bit less. It's about 3 to 4 cents less a mailer for the final expense than the mortgage protection. The average, now, if you send out more than 1,000 at a time, your price is going to come down. And we have tiered pricing based off of how much you send out at a time. We also have pricing based off of how many campaigns you do with us. Once you get beyond 10 campaigns, we take a couple of pennies off because we see that you're an established client of Plum, and we'll try to bring your costs down. Because with every campaign, and this is the one thing I have to tell everyone about direct mail, this is the caveat. I can't guarantee you anything. I wish I could. If I could, I'd be living in the south of France, but I don't. I live in Boston. So I can't guarantee you any results. I can tell you that the national average for direct mail is between 0.75 and 1.5% for mortgage protection. And it all depends on where you're mailing to. Mail to California, Texas, Florida, it's on the lower side. Mail to South Dakota, North Dakota, Wyoming, Idaho, Montana, places that are not marketed to, it's more on the higher side. So we tell everyone the average 1%, right down the middle. But that's the average response rate. You send out 10 mailers, you get 10 leads. Now, you put your phone number on there, you put the landing page on there, you might get 15 calls. You might get 15 responses between cards, phones, and URLs. When you do put your phone number on there, I always tell people the one caveat is I can't track what your overall response rate is unless you tell me how many calls you get, and if you're honest with me. So, but that's the pricing if you just send out 1,000. Again, we work with people. We will happy to try to curtail something that fits your budget. Those are our prices right now for new agents coming in. Some people might be grandfathered in to a little bit lower pricing because you've worked with us before. We're trying very hard to keep your prices where they are if you're grandfathered in lower. But for newer agents coming on, as of today, those are the prices between 54 and 56 cents for the mortgage protection, 3 to 4 cents less for the final expense. We're hoping that.
I'm sorry, Jeremiah. For final expense, you're saying anywhere between 48 and 50 cents?
I tell everyone between 49 and 51 cents for the final expense, just depending on what style of mailer you use. We have what we call self mailers, which are 8.5 by 5.5 foldovers that go out. They have little tabs around the edge that people rip off to fill out their information and drop it in the mail. Then we have ones that go in plain white envelopes that they open the envelope and they fill out the card and drop it back in the mail. Obviously, the one with the envelope's a little bit more money because you're paying for an envelope versus not paying for an envelope. We don't see a huge difference in the overall response rate for final expense envelope versus no envelope. I do have one agent that does the Walmart gift card option on their final expense mailer. If you want to do it, we're happy to talk you through the program. You go to Walmart, buy a bunch of $5 gift cards. You give them out to people when they make appointments. Your response rate goes way up when you offer it. But you get a lot of people that just want the $5 gift card. So,
all right. Question about the camp. First of all, thank you for that.
Yep,
the 10
absolutely.
campaign, does that have to be Tim setting up a campaign? You say, hey, I'm going to mail 10 times. He has to tell you that up front, or is it?
Nope.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
So once you hit the 10, we should keep an eye on the agent to keep an eye on that. Hey, I'm at my 10th campaign. Can we talk about the preferred pricing?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we have it internally. Like if someone's getting up to that, we'll make a comment about it. But really what it just comes down to is we'll tell you. And here's the nice thing. And when we get savings, we pass them along. We're being told by our supply house, once we hit June and July, a lot of the shortages for paper and envelopes are supposed to disappear and the costs are supposed to come down. We then lower our cost because we go back to what we were before this huge inflation and problem right there. It's just like everything else, every time I go to the grocery store to buy groceries, it amazes me how much more I'm spending for the same stuff. It's the same thing in our industry, unfortunately. Which is why we encourage the phone number and the URL to try to increase your overall response rate as well.
Got it. Cost of, hopefully you have I'm sure you do. Cost of annuity lead per 1,000?
So pre-pandemic, we did a lot of annuity mailings. During the pandemic, it really tailed off and we stopped doing it. We've done a couple since things have kind of started to wind down here in 2022. I have to be honest with everyone, the response rate has been horrible.
Okay.
And so we're not gang busting right now to try to get people to do those because we're not seeing a great response rate. The cost, by the way, is the same as the final expense because we're just pulling age and income to send out. The other part of Plum Direct Marketing is probably 50% of our business is people that do seminars and group events and workshop events where you bring together groups of people to talk about products and services that you offer, primarily on the financial service sector of things, but also for Medicare, for Social Security, and other things like that. So if you have agents, or if you've been thinking about doing group events at a library, at a community center, we can help you put together mailers to bring together 20, 30, 40 groups of people to talk to them all at once, and then make appointments, that way as well. Doesn't work with mortgage protection, doesn't work with final expense, but does work with annuities and Medicare and long-term care and stuff.
People have been doing that since like the 70s and 80s.
Absolutely.
And then what about MedSup? Because we're rapidly going that direction to be
Yes.
a MedSup provider here at FFL. What's the cost per thousand with that, and how does that work?
Same as final expense. Doesn't cost any extra. We do 3 different tiers of Medicare mailers. The first one is T65 for people that are targeting people who are turning 65 in the next 0 to 3 months or 0 to 6 months, depending on what you prefer. We have Medicare mailers for people that are between the ages of 65 and 69 that just mail throughout the entire year to talk to them about Medicare. And then the big one is in October for open enrollment. And that's when we do almost no final expense. And we actually recommend, once you hit October, if you are licensed to do Medicare, mail for Medicare, because that's the open enrollment period when everybody can make changes and make
Without penalty
to themselves. So there's a lot of people. So again, the yin and the yang. There's a lot of people mailing, but that's when people are looking at their mail. And that's one of the reasons why I always tell people, because I get this a lot. Why use direct mail? I don't look at my mail. I'm 44. I don't really look at my mail either anymore. I get all my bills, online. People over the age of 60 look at their mail because the laws dictate you have to get your statements in the mail. You have to get your stuff from the government in the mail. You have to get your Medicare stuff and your Social Security stuff in the mail. That's the law. So they check their mailboxes. So that's why I tell people, when it comes to mortgage protection, don't mail to people under the age of 35. My kids who are in their 20s, they've never looked in my mailbox. I don't even think they know what a mailbox is. They've never opened a piece of mail. They don't know how to go to a post office. I tried to send my daughter to mail a package for me, and she had no idea what to do, and she's 23. So, but that's how it is with the younger generation. But the older generation, the 50s and up, they still check their mail because of how it works, and that's why direct mail works. The last thing I'll say is, one question I always get: are these leads sold? They're not. Plum Direct Marketing does not sell leads. You cannot call me or Melissa and say, I'd like to buy leads in this county. We don't sell them. We don't sell leads. We don't sell age leads. We don't sell anything. We sell campaigns to produce leads for your business. We will not resell your leads. Once you get those emails of scanned leads, your leads are shredded and thrown away. I keep them in my email for a month in case somebody loses them, but we shred them at the production plant after we send them to you. We don't sell B leads. We don't sell aged leads. We give you also the mailing list that you've mailed to. So if you want to cross-reference, go do door knocking, you have that information as well at your fingertips. So, but that's a big one. I always like to tell it, we don't sell leads. I know with your CRM, I've been told, correct me if I'm wrong here, there's leads in there that you can buy. They're kind of shuffled around from person to person, depending on if they sell them or not. We don't do that. They're yours. They're only yours. If you share them, that's your business. If not, no one else sees them.
So as a recap, first of all, this has been awesome. And then we'll open it up for questions and let you go because, we want to be respectful.
Yeah, no, take time.
No lockout areas, mortgage, final expense, annuities, MedSup. You recommend mailing to more rural areas as opposed to large cities just because of how things work with that. Let's see. Number, name, URL is highly recommended, but just first name. They're non-dated mail pieces. So if somebody wants to mail back in or reach out to you 6, 7, 8 months, you recommend 2 months or more or further out, no more than about 3 years, if you will, for the mailer, especially if you're doing mortgage protection. You can expect to see whatever the lead flow is going to be in about 3 to 3.5 weeks. Mortgage per thousand is anywhere between 53 cents to 56. Final expense per thousand, 49 to 51. Annuities and MedSup is the same, that 49 to 51 based on market price, based on cost of paper from China, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly. Yep.
Tiered pricing based on all of that stuff depends upon what the cost is and the number of campaigns, anywhere from 0.75 to 1.5% return with mortgage protection, 100% exclusive. Once we get to 10, each agent gets to 10 campaigns. You guys will reach out to us and let us know that there's can be a discounted price. And then I'll leave the rest of this out in reference to the MedSup. Any other questions for Mr. Wilson?
Yeah, I got one.
Yep, go ahead.
I don't know who was first.
Hey,
I'll
go
jump
ahead.
in. Thanks. Hey, I just wanted to ask, whenever it comes to the website or the URL situation, do you have any recommendations or anybody that you can steer to? That's a great idea, especially for anybody who's younger. If they can just go to a URL and fill something out, and plus it's that much faster. It's less. I would say for a lot of people, it's probably less. Not stressful, but I think you get what I'm trying to say. It's just easier to go to the website and fill something out. So do you have any recommendations on setting something like that up, or do you guys actually have some sort of canned thing that you use?
We do, yeah. So we own a URL called protectmymortgage.info. Feel free to type it into Google right now. You can look at it. And what we do is we take it and we say protectmymortgage.info/RV for Ryan in your last name. And they'll go to that and they'll type in their information and hit submit. And then you and I get an email 2 seconds later with that information. And you call them because they're probably still on their computer, at that exact moment. There is a $100 cost to set it up. After that, there's no cost. It just runs. We don't take them down. We don't deactivate them if you stop, with Plum or anything like that. It's up. It's yours. Put it on your business card if you want. If you don't have a website, it's very basic. It's just asking for your name, your address, your phone number, your email, and then click submit. We try to keep it as basic as possible, because we've also learned that even not so much the younger people, but people in older generations, because of Corona, have learned how to use Skype, other websites. And so the idea of putting in their information is not foreign to them like it was pre-2020. So, and one of the reasons why we recommend it, if you want to do it through Plum, you can do it on your own. Like you can go make a website and we'll put it on there for you. Absolutely. We actually can back end track it where if you lose a lead or you've misplaced a lead, we store it on our server. So I can go back and ask my IT guy, can you go to Ryan's page, pull all of his leads, send them to me, and then I can send them to you if you lose them for whatever reason. So just that. Really, the $100 cost is just my IT's guy taking an hour out of his day to set up your website, and then that's it. So
Good question, Ryan. Thanks, Jeremiah.
Yep.
Gregory, I think you had a question?
Yes, sir. So Jeremiah, you said it's better to send mail to the rural areas than the big cities. I live in Atlanta, so
yep.
So you hit me the nail right on the head on that one. So and then you were saying something. I just want to make sure I understand it. You were saying something about if you send something to a county, just say like I want to send something to Cobb County,
yep.
and you see that you got a lot of activity there already. You'll say, okay, well, you can send it there, but we recommend that maybe you pick another county. Is that what
correct?
Okay.
Yeah. So we keep an internal spreadsheet every time a mailing goes out with Plum that just basically lists what's being mailed and where it's going for a county. So if, like I've spoken to a few of you where you say, can you look at this, and this county? I go on the spreadsheet and see, have we mailed there in the last 90 days? Have we mailed there in the last 120 days? And if we have, and we've mailed for mortgage protection, I'm going to suggest mail somewhere else. Pick a neighboring county or another county in the area, because I can't tell you what other companies are mailing, but I can tell you what we're mailing. And I would much rather you take your money and put it towards another county that isn't being marketed right now by Plum versus dropping your mail on top of another agent. So that's why I tell people, like, and I use it as an example because I've got 3 people doing it. I've got 3 agents right now mailing in Hawaii and Alaska, and they're basically blanketing the state every single week with mailers. I tell them, you can do that, but you're mailing against other people. And they said, that's fine. We don't have a problem with that. Maybe they pool their leads. I don't know for sure. But we'll always recommend go outside the area. Like if you mail to Atlanta, seriously, take your money down to the casino, put it on black on the roulette table. It's better than mailing to Atlanta. The response rate in Atlanta is incredibly low because the big companies are dropping 100,000 piece drops there on a weekly basis because it's a concentrated area that they can get a lot of leads to have 1 or 2 agents not drive around to do it. I think people are shy about the rural areas because they feel like I got to drive an hour. I got to go outside. Like I had someone that did a campaign in Stone Mountain, Georgia. Like never would have thought that. He killed it because no one else mailed there because apparently it's a very rural area. Peachtree City, Swanee, Duluth, areas like that get great response rate down in Georgia. Well, nobody mails to them because they're smaller areas. And so you get a better response rate because you're competing against maybe 1 other mailer as opposed to 10 mailers in their mailbox if you go to Atlanta.
Okay. So one more quick question. Yep. When you're doing the every week campaigns or the every other week campaigns, would we be mailing to that same county, or would you suggest, okay, so I'm doing Henry County this time, so maybe I'll do Calhoun next time, and then maybe I'll do Lafayette? So how does that?
So for an example, like Henry County, if we run a demographic count and there's 5,000 people in Henry County that we can mail to, and you say to me, Jeremiah, I want to mail 1,000 pieces this week. I say, great. Next week, do you want to mail to Henry County again, or do you want to do a different county? If you want to do Henry County, we suppress that mailing list off the list. So now there's only 4,000 names. We'll pick another random 1,000 of the 4,000. And then you say to me, I want to mail to Henry County again. We'll suppress both lists. Now you've got 3,000 names of people. So we'll constantly keep suppressing your mailing lists so you're not mailing to the same people over and over and over. Once you've exhausted everybody, then I'll say to you, pick another place, or we can start over again. And if you keep an internal list of people that you've spoken to and people that you've sold, you can send me, and we call it a do not mail list, and we upload that, and we won't mail to people for you either. So if you've got a list of 100 people that you've sold to in Atlanta and you want to mail to Atlanta, we'll suppress those people off so they don't get your mailer.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. Thanks, Ryan and Gregory. Jeremiah, thank you so much for your
You're
time.
welcome.
Appreciate it. Obviously, we'll be hitting you up here in about
Absolutely. Anytime.
New people on. And I know you've got several of our guys that are already working with you, and we'll continue to do this, especially since we're as a team, we're more educated on what you guys do and how you do it. Thanks again for your time. We appreciate it. And
you're very welcome. Feel free to email, call anytime, guys. Anything at all, please let us know.
Thanks, Jeremiah.
Thanks, guys. Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.
You also. All right, guys, let me share my screen here and we'll go over some of our good news from last week. Just very cool here. All right. Looks like you guys can see my screen here. So HCMS, again, just make sure that you guys are continuing to put your information into HCMS in reference to agents codes. I think we're doing a very, very good job about that. Amy and I barely have any conversations about it that much anymore. So I appreciate you guys doing that and putting your information in. We had our 3rd next level training that was here in St. Louis, just some pictures from that. There's Kevin that actually won the oh my gosh, Renee's part. Renee, what did you do again? The phone scripts? He actually won the phone script. Yep. And he actually won the trivia as well. So his animation just cracks me up. $25 gift card. Actually, he won $50 in Amazon gift cards. And of course, a tumbler as well, Genesis tumbler. Some couple of other, Tim doing a presentation on There's the infamous cheese ball. So you guys, if you were there, you know what that was about. But Tim doing an excellent job going over the in-home presentation. We've got Paul that just did an impromptu presentation on referrals. That was very, very good. One of our fastest rising agents, if you will. And looks like he'll hit week number 13 next week of protecting families. And we'll talk about that next week. Just a couple of guys there, Ryan, Kevin, and Tim, actually having a conversation. We went to this place called Up Down, which is pretty neat. You go there, they've got retro video games. You can see Stargate and X-Men over there in the background. Went there and had dinner. There's Mark talking about how to run your business like a business, another excellent session that was put on there. A couple of the guys there hanging out again. And this is Tim and the guys talking about the scripts. You can see they're pretty intent there, which was pretty cool to be a part of that group as well. So small breakout groups. There's Ryan again, Kevin again, taking it down. And Ryan, you look a little pissed there.
Hey, I was disappointed, man.
Hilarious.
I worked so hard. I came in second.
I'm actually going to crop that picture and use it for some other stuff. So, Tim, you did a terrible job of getting out of the way, by the way. But in reference to our meeting schedule, guys, I know we see this every week. Every single week, I have people ask me what our meeting schedule is. It's always going to be on Slack. We post it the night before. We post it the morning of. So if you're in question of when our meetings are, just hop on Slack. Every Sunday night, I will post every meeting that we're a part of. That's with Velocity. You can also go on to Slack and look it up where all the meetings and stuff like that are in the general thread. Mondays and Thursdays, starting at 7 a.m. Central. I believe you can get on as early as 6:30 for the other parts of the country, but 7:30 Central, you can get on, listen to some of the top performers across the country. You can listen to them make dials. People like Robbie Wells, who was a Hall of Famer last year, that just gets on there 7:30 every Monday and Thursday, and you get to hear what he says. And he'll even tell you, kind of narrate what he's doing, and you can ask him questions. It's a great resource at time. Mondays, Velocity does a new agent training. So if you're in, question about what you should be doing, lead strategy, phone scripts, and those kind of things, they have top performers on there across the country that are on there as well. Wednesday, we have our recruiting and onboarding meeting where we talk about the onboarding process if you're going to recruit. And even if you're new here or you've got somebody that you recruited, we highly recommend that meeting because it's going to get you through the process sooner. We also have, speaking of that, on the 31st, so at least that's what's on the docket right now. It's being tested right now where when you have new people come on, there's 3 carriers that they'll be able to get right away. I think AMM, AIG, and Americo. Forgive me if I mixed one of those up, where people will be able to come on once they get started and get their license and have those 3 carriers to be able to go out and hit the field and write. And of course, Prosperity within 24 hours. So it's going to speed up the process of which we have people helping families faster. Highly recommend that Wednesday meeting. Thursday afternoon at 1 Central, 2 Eastern, the Velocity team Zoom. Again, they'll have, people that are winning across the country, new agents, agents may be a little bit more senior, and you can listen to what they're doing. You can ask them questions. Again, so it's outside of our little sphere of Genesis worldwide and obviously Good Life, but it's a great call to be on as well. And then, of course, we have our call today where we have, a feature speaker from one of the carriers or one of our own that actually does the training. So in reference to strings, we have stepped it up a notch. We now have 13 people on strings, which is awesome. Kevin Francis, brand new agent, 2 weeks. Gregory Pitts at 2 weeks. Kevin Gilbert at 2 weeks. Ed stretches his string to 4 weeks. Congratulations, Ed. We got Mr. Smagala at 6 weeks, starting that string again. Jeff Scott, 8 weeks. Paul Zimney, 12. And obviously will be 13 weeks next week. Congratulations to you, Paul. Mr. Ryan at 15 weeks in a row that he's protected a family. And guys, I know you can't see me right now, but I want to take a couple seconds and go over a couple things here. I'm going to come back here at the end. Christy Polsak, 25 weeks in a row that she's protected a family. Renee Barker, training, developing, recruiting, building, all the stuff that you do, Renee, and still 49 weeks in a row that you protected a family. Absolutely fantastic, leading from the front. Not only being our top producer, but you poured into people after training and just continue to do what needs to be done. Congratulations, Renee, on 49 weeks in a row protecting a family. And I tip my hat to you every single day, Mr. Bilo, not just every week. 57 weeks in a row. You and Worldwide and Good Life are a very large percentage of what we do on a weekly basis. I know that your streak will obviously continue for a long time. Congratulations to you for 57 weeks in a row. And a great one, 61 weeks in a row of protecting a family. I mean, I don't even know what to say. That's just absolutely tremendous. Congratulations to Mark and all the other 12 teammates, if you will, that are on strings. Now, I'm going to point this out here really quick. Hopefully you guys can see this on your screen. Just a quick congratulations to Ryan. Ryan, you've come here. I know you're part-time right now, but you're running your business full-time, even though you're part-time, and you're getting the results. And we want to make sure that you get recognized for it. Ryan's string, you guys, you just saw that that's on the string. I think he's up to 15 weeks. So 15 weeks ago, Ryan, 958. 12 weeks ago, 4801, 2604, 1486, 573, 1017. Was number 3 with Genesis at 2577, his 7th weekend. Was number 1 his 6th weekend, $7,065 with 6 families protected. 4116, 2625, 4497, 2483, and 1689 for a total of 34 families protected, $36,491 in 13 weeks. Ryan, congratulations to you for hitting your string. And it'll be a nice coffee cup, if you will, or tumbler that will be sent to your home here within the next few weeks. And also, because I know you're going to continue your string there, and we'll send you a king of string with your numbers and everything else on that. So congratulations to you and your family. Keep up the great work. And it's an amazing thing you're doing, protecting families out there. Well done, Ryan, and congratulations.
Go Rhino.
All right.
Really excited about that cup, by the way.
You could have stolen it from Kevin, but you know. All right.
Hey, I thought about it. I won't say that it didn't cross my mind.
Watch out and sit that cup down, you'll steal it, right? So numbers last week, guys, of course, we were a little bit down. We had, a lot of our heavy hitters, if you will, that were at the training in St. Louis, but obviously we'll make up for it. We had a very solid day again. And the last training that we had, it's funny, we set our Thursday record with almost $19,000, and we had a really solid Thursday yesterday as well, which you'll see. Our reference to our producers that helped the families last week, we got Mr. Jeff Scott at 192. I came in at 520. Christy Polsak protecting a family and continuing her string at 865. Trevor Lawrence, 866. Ed Moran, there again, $1,115, continuing his streak up to 6 weeks. Kevin, and absolutely crushed it at the training, $1,197. Mr. Belo, 1548, taking his string up. Ryan Valet, 1682 or 89, sorry, 3 families protected. Mr. Zimney, 1792. And then to round off our top 5, Mr. Pitts, $2,333, 4 families protected. Congratulations, Gregory. The great one, $2,397, 1 family protected. Also, Mark. Kevin Gilbert, one of our part-time agents in Florida, 2723, 2 families protected. And Smagala, that's absolutely tearing the cover off of this thing. Congratulations, Brian, on another solid week, $4,033, 3 families protected. No surprise, top of the list again, our number 1 producer, Miss Renee Barker, $7,588 with half of a week. She spent the rest of the time in St. Louis and made good use of her time in St. Louis, spent an extra day, and looks like she's going to protect families here as well. So congratulations to everybody, and congratulations especially to our top 5, and Renee, congratulations to you as well for another absolutely outstanding week. Top 5 producers for the week: Gregory Pitts, as we just mentioned, 4 families protected. Mark Williams, a family protected. Kevin Gilbert, 2. Brian Smagala, 3. And then, of course, Renee, $7,588 with 7 families protected there. In reference to our top 10 for the month, as Mark mentioned, we got a few weeks left coming from bottom up. Mr. Belo, and you guys will see that number shoot up here in the next couple of days, especially for next week. 4832 coming in the number 10 spot. We've got one of our agents down in Texas there at 4888. Mr. Salazar coming in the number 8 spot at 5754. We got Damian there with 7 families protected at 6289. Jeremy Cruz, 6596. Awesome job by Jeremy. The great one, 6638 or 39. We got Gabriel down there in Florida at $7,011 so far for the month, issue paid. And our top 3, and this is part-time, guys, which is nuts. Congratulations to you, Ryan. 11 families protected, $11,379. And again, you've eclipsed that 13-week string mark. So congratulations to you. And here's the cool part about this, guys. If you look at the far right-hand side, Ryan, last month, $7,439, and you're already up with 2 weeks left, essentially at $11,380, or basically $80. So if you look at that, you're on pace to do roughly right at just under 20K for the month, which is outstanding. That's part-time income. You have some people that will make $20,000 in a quarter. So congratulations to you, Ryan, for sure. Paul Zimney, not surprised at all. I knew you would come here and do this. Proud of you, what you're doing and the families that you're helping, and really, really awesome that you asked to pour back into the group at the next level training, put a training together that was excellent. You're our number 2 producer so far for the month. Again, no surprise, $15,407 issue paid for the month. And again, top of the heap, 16 families protected, issue paid so far, on pace to do about $40,000 this month, $18,552. Congratulations, Renee Barker, for being number 1 with Genesis so far for the month of March. Last week, issue paid $42,576. You can see where our company, where we're at in reference to an agency. Our top carrier, 51,000, just a tad over 51,000 with Mutual of Omaha. Second is AIG, and Americo is right behind them. And then obviously Transamerica, a big push there as well. So sitting at 136,000 issue paid, 39 unique riders where we're at for the month. 62,000 issued in week 2, and our first week of the month of March, just over 31,000. Reference to yesterday, again, no surprise, big shocker, right? We had our next level training. We had about 20 people there at the training. We come out and have a very solid Thursday, excuse me. We actually doubled up what we did last Thursday after a training. I don't think that's a coincidence. Nonetheless, number 7, Sheila Moore is one of our new agents down in Texas. Had a great time talking to her last night. I really wish you guys could hear her energy through the phone. I was talking to her probably till almost 10 o'clock last night, back and forth. She protects her first family at $876. Tim Belo, $921. Ryan Valet, $1239 that can push his string. We got Ed Moran at $1820. Nice job, Ed. Myself, and then we of course have Mr. Smagala at $2916, and Renee, again, big shocker, right? $2991 with an NLG policy to help a family and push her string. I want to say congratulations again to Sheila for protecting her first family last night down there in Texas. And then just a few other things before we swing to our leadership to close out last week. A monthly bonus, again, producing $30,000. So Renee, obviously you'll be getting a bonus this month. $30,000 issue paid is a $500 non-charge backable bonus. $40,000 is $750, so on and so forth, all the way up to $150K, which is a $6,000 bonus. Americo, for those of us that want to write Americo, they have a bonus that starts December 1st, to May 31st. So if you issue pay $45,000 with them at that time, they'll pay you an 8% bonus. That's paid usually the first part of June. So just want to keep you guys aware of what's out there in reference to bonuses. I know we don't write a lot of AMAM, but just want to make sure that you guys are aware of this for the month of March. They're doing a 25% bump in production. So if you basically write, let's say $1,000, they're going to make it $1,250, just so you guys know that and know what's available to you in reference to bonuses. The reason I put this back in here is because at the training, there was a couple people confused by this. So obviously it makes sense to put it back, just so you guys know, for those of you that write Americo or that want to write Americo, they now go all the way up to $450,000 on the CBO 100, which is cash back or return of premium, the CBO 50, term 100, term 125, and continuation with no saliva, which means you can submit it through their application and they're going to either approve or deny it without having to do saliva. So before we swing back out to leadership, does anybody have any questions before we swing through and conclude the meeting? All right, Mark, close us out.
Okay, so hey, we're at ending first quarter next week, right? Week 5. So do an assessment on where you're at with your personal business. If you're growing an agency, see where you're at. Those that were at training Tuesday and Wednesday, we wrote down some goals, guys. Put those where you can see them every day. And if you weren't at training, write down your goals. The year's 25% over next week, guys. It's going fast. So the great thing about this business is we're going to grow exponentially. So you can start the ball rolling kind of slow first quarter, pick up some speed in second quarter, and by fourth quarter this year, you can be jumping 2 and 3 levels at a time here. personally and as an agency. So it's just amazing the opportunity we have here. So don't take it lightly. Don't take it for granted. Work hard, of course. That's just a given. I don't have to tell anybody that. Work hard, have a plan, and set your expectations a little bit higher every week, and then you'll be amazed what happens.
That's right.
No doubt.
Every day counts. Thanks, Mark. Renee.
Yeah, so I'll just kind of, follow Mark in that. You really have to know where you want to be to know the path to take to get there. So you need to set those goals to really establish, what are you working for? What are you working toward? What is the whole goal behind all of this? What's your purpose? So think about where you want to be 30, 60, 90 days from now, and then 6 months and 12 months. Think about not just with the business, but your personal goals. Sometimes reaching a personal goal will help further you in your business life as well, because you're excelling at something. And each time you succeed at a goal that you set, you have that extra motivation that lifts you up and encourages you and pushes you to do better in other areas of your life. So if you don't know how to get where you're going, reach out to your business partner, reach out to somebody else that is performing at a level that you'd like to do, and just ask questions, but most importantly, take notes on what you get, because it's really difficult when you're trying to run this business every day and dealing with life in general to remember everything that you talk about. So write it down. Putting pen to paper is going to help it stick a lot better, and you can always go back and reference those notes when you find yourself kind of fading away from where you need to be. We are all here to support you guys. We're in this together, so don't be afraid to reach out. And again, I look forward to everything that we're going to do as a team this year.
Thanks, Renee. Appreciate it. GP.
Wow, Renee said what I was thinking about saying with the goals. So I'll just say it like this. Michael Jordan used basketball as his vehicle to reach his goals. Tiger Woods used golf as his vehicle to reach his goals. Use what we do here at FFL as the vehicle to reach whatever goals it is that you're trying to get. Me and Brandy, we redid her goals over. She started reaching her goals, so we extended them out. And Brandy, don't get mad at me. She said she wants to buy a house. And then she tried to back down, and she was like, well, maybe I don't want to get this house. I saw a house that was $700,000. I said, no, don't bring your goals down. Make your business reach the goal that you're trying to get to. I said, let's sit down and find out how much the house is. How much do you need to put down on it? All of those other things you need to get into that house. And then you structure your goals for that time period. When you want to get it, you want to do it at the end of this year, end of next year. You structure your work ethic to reach that goal that you want to get. I want her to get that $750,000 house. So they should have a guest room for me, Corey. I can go in there and sit down and watch. But I mean, don't push your dreams back. Use this as the vehicle to get to where you are. And remember, what we do is essential. People need what we do. So you guys have a great week, and let's kick this thing in high gear. Thank you.
I love it. Which one of you boys want to, Tim? You're up.
Guys, don't really have nothing to add to any of that. The one thing that I will say, and to kind of go along with what Gregory was saying, here's an opportunity you can out earn any problem that you have in life, like whatever it is. This business allows you to do that. I mean, there's no ceiling on your income. There's no ceiling on how many opportunities you want to go out and share with people, not only on the cover it with the coverage side, but also sharing the opportunity with folks. So don't be shy to do that. Just stay steady with the task and get 1% better every day.
Right. Anything else? Anybody has to add? Amy, anything administrative? Mark, you look like you got something else to say.
No, I'm good. I'm ready.
Okay. Just want to make
Ready to
sure.
get after it.
Corey, I got one more thing to say.
Go
I
ahead.
just want to go back to, I know you guys are gonna want to beat the heck out of me. I just wanted to go back to what Tim just said there. Tim, can you come back on there one more time and talk about that just another second? How essential is that to be broke on the beginning of a week and be able to work your way out of that to pay whatever bills you need to. I mean, it may be like 30 seconds or something, because that is huge. I learned that at my practice company.
Really, it all boils down to one thing, kind of with what Renee was talking about. You got to have a plan. If you don't know where you're going, you're never going to get there. Okay. That's the first thing. Second thing is you got to take action. That's the
Right.
bottom line. You know, we can sit here and talk about we're going to do this, we're going to do that, but until you actually take action, and you got to remember, people fill out forms, they need the coverage, so go and see them. You know, I door knocked one yesterday and ended up writing him and her just by taking the action. And you know, that's the thing you have to do, is set a plan and realize, hey man, you may not have no money in your bank account today, but within 2 days, brother, you can have $2,000 to $3,000 sitting there. And I tell you what, you know, money won't make you happy, but it sure eases the pain. You know what I'm saying? So just get a plan and get after it. That's it. We live in America. Don't get no better than this.
Thank you.
Well
Thank you,
said.
buddy.
Yeah, I can't top any of that, guys. I appreciate your time. Hopefully you guys picked up something from Plum Direct. We have some other vendors that are going to be on here really soon. I'll put a quick list. I'll probably get it done this evening, a quick list, so you guys have the bullet points for that. And really appreciate what you guys are doing. Everybody that was at the next level training, hopefully got something out of it. Amy, I don't know did we get any surveys back? I don't know if we did. I don't know if I got notified. If you guys would please complete those surveys, it just helps the class that will come after you. We can resend it again if you'd like. But guys, have a great weekend. Let's have some weekend warrior time, and thanks for all you guys do. Bye for now.
Bye, guys.
Peace out.
Good luck, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Hey, Brandy.